Destinies. Two capital cities looking right at each other, yet belonging to two completely different nations. Pretty surprising, right? Kinshasa and Brazzaville are separated only by the Congo River, a distance so short that from one bank, you can clearly see the buildings and city lights of the other. This is the closest pair of capital cities in the world, belonging to two countries that share the same name. Despite being so close, there hasn't been a direct bridge connecting them for hundreds of years. The river stands as a boundary between two different worlds. A capital city on this side, a capital city on that side, facing each other every day, yet belonging to separate nations, with distinct paces of life, laws, and destinies. On certain afternoons, as the sunset drapes over the Congo River, people stand in silence, gazing at the opposite shore. It's only a few minutes' boat ride away. Yet it represents a border that not everyone can cross. Some have family on the other side, but struggle to see them regularly their whole lives. Others grow up with another city in full view, but have never actually set foot there. And strangely enough, it is precisely because they are so close that the distance feels even more profound, as if these two capitals look at each other every day, just to remind us that some things can be within sight, yet a whole world away. Number 14. The most unique tribes found only in Congo. The Congo Basin is the second largest tropical rainforest on Earth, but the strangest thing about it isn't its size. It's its ability to create parallel worlds within the exact same country. Under a massive green canopy, where sunlight is reduced to fragile streaks filtering through dense layers of leaves, the deep jungle, massive rivers, and swamps are more than just landscapes. They become invisible walls dividing people. Some communities are only dozens of miles apart, yet it takes days for them to meet, causing each village to develop into its own world with its own language, customs, and identity. Nature itself drew the first borders here. It wasn't war or politics, but the deep forest and long rivers that allowed over 200 ethnic groups and hundreds of languages to exist side by side across a vast land. Each community grew up to its own rhythm, preserving ancient customs untouched by the modern world. In the Congo, people don't live alongside nature, they live inside it. Life, culture, and their entire worldview are shaped by the forest. Here, time seems to move slower, and a journey to the next village can sometimes be harder than flying to another country. Number 13. Where an entire society floats on water. On the Congo River, there are massive barge convoys hundreds of feet long, carrying thousands of people and all kinds of cargo. From a distance, they look like floating villages slowly drifting through the rainforest. But the amazing part isn't their size. It's the fact that these boats aren't just transporting people and goods, they are transporting an entire social life. People buy and sell, cook, make friends, trade news, negotiate business, and build relationships right on the water. Dugout canoes constantly pull up alongside them to trade goods. A simple greeting can spark a business deal. A short conversation can carry news hundreds of miles away. Time here seems to move to a different beat. Barges run aground, engines break down, journeys drag on for weeks. But instead of fighting the slowness, people learn to live with it. In a country where deep jungle and rivers cut communities off from one another, the Congo River is more than just a transit route. It is a highway, a marketplace, a town square, a social network, and sometimes a home to thousands of people. Perhaps what makes this place so special isn't just that a floating village exists on the river. It's that an entire community has turned the river into a place to connect, survive, and sustain life across generations. Number 12. Getting by on less than $1 a day. The Congo is considered one of the poorest nations on Earth. Life for the average person is incredibly tough. If you stick to the capital city, you might not fully grasp the gravity of it because you'll still sling local markets or makeshift shacks made of scraps, where a single rainstorm gets everything wet and bicycle is a luxury. Because of this extreme poverty, people live very simply. Just having something to fill their stomachs is a blessing. A whole family's daily budget is often less than $1 per person. Even though the government and global organizations have stepped in to help, it only scratches the surface. They still desperately need our support and attention. Drop a 2 in the comments if you're keeping them in your thoughts and prayers. Number 11. Congo, where life is completely flipped compared to the rest of the world. In most parts of the world, roads are seen as the absolute lifeblood of trade, with goods moving via trucks, highways, and interconnected transit networks. But in the Congo, geography rewrites the rules entirely. This twist isn't out of romanticism, but simply because there is no plan B. Even though the Congo spans a massive 900,000 square miles, it has less than 1,800 miles of paved roads. For all intents and purposes, highways barely exist here. The Congo River isn't just a water source or a backup travel route, it is the nation's actual main highway. With such a sparse road system leaving many areas completely cut off by land, all transport relies heavily on the river. The fascinating part is that the Congolese people have lived this way for so long that the river doesn't even feel like an inconvenience anymore. In quite a few places, taking a boat can be dozens of times faster than driving. Fleets of boats and barges packed with goods, fuel, and food travel up and down the river, connecting towns and communities that roads simply can't reach effectively. Number 10. Unique cuisine bugs are the new meat, and they taste better than you think. At the markets in Kinshasa, buckets filled with squirming, wiggling white grubs line the market alleys, often shocking tourists who stumble upon this unconventional food. Trays of golden-fried caterpillars, seasoned with chili, are proudly displayed by welcoming market women inviting you to take a bite. While it might look extreme to outsiders, to millions of Congolese people, it's just a comforting, everyday meal. Mpos is the Lingala name for palm weevil larvae beetles that live in palm trees. They can be eaten with rice or fufu, or fried up crispy just like potato chips. One Congolese nonprofit even breeds thousands of Mpos to distribute to orphanages in Kinshasa. If you look at the price of meat in the DRC, eating insects won't seem so strange after all. The retail price of beef currently hovers around $2.25 to $4 a pound, $5 to $9 per kilograms, which is over 4 times the average daily income of a Congolese worker. Meanwhile, a small portion of insects provides far more nutritional value than meat. People don't eat caterpillars because they are out of options. They eat them because it has been passed down from generation to generation. It has become a core cultural identity of their cuisine. Number 9. The custom of marrying a sister and her sisters too. In the Congo, several communities still maintain the custom of polygamy, and it is quite common. In fact, a man can even marry sisters from the same family. However, the most important requirement is getting consent from both the family and the women involved. Plus, the husband must have the financial means to provide for the entire family and all of his wives. This custom aims to reduce conflicts among the wives compared to when they come from different families. Depending on the traditions of each individual tribe, the wedding rituals and dowries can be very unique. A dowry might consist of cattle, or sometimes, it's actually a debt owed by the bride's own father. But either way, it shows us a truly unique side of the Congo. Please follow our channel and share our videos. By doing that, you are giving us a lot of financial support. Thank you. Number 8. In the Congo, a ferry ride home can be a one-way trip. This is one of the most heartbreaking realities about transportation in the Congo. Reports show that in 2024 alone, 950 people lost their lives in boat accidents, making the Congo the country with the highest number of watercraft fatalities in the world. The actual numbers are likely much higher, as most shipwrecks in remote river branches go completely unreported. Just in June 2024, the vessel HB Sante went down, claiming at least 86 lives, including 21 children. In October 2024, another 78 people drowned when a boat capsized on Lake Kivu. What makes these tragedies even more painful is that the vast majority of victims aren't professional sailors or tourists. They are everyday people merchants, taking goods to the market, or children tagging along with their parents to the other side who just wanted to get home. For many Congolese, a journey that begins with the hope of making a little money ends up costing them their entire future to the river. In a country that boasts the second largest river system in the world, the very waters that are supposed to connect people have instead become the site of far too many goodbyes. Number 7. The craziest traffic rules in the world. Picture this. You're driving right in the middle of rush hour. Suddenly, every single car stops, pedestrians freeze in their tracks, and the entire street looks like it was paused in a movie for a few minutes. This isn't a scene from a sci-fi film. In the Congo, whenever the flag-raising or flag-lowering ceremonies take place in front of government buildings, usually around 7:30 a.m. and 6 p.m. all traffic must come to a dead stop, and pedestrians have to stand perfectly still until the ritual is over. Anyone who breaks this rule can face serious trouble or even get arrested. But that's not even the most surprising part. When an official government convoy rolls through with its signature blaring sirens, drivers have to quickly pull over to the shoulder, turn off their headlights, and wait until officers signal that it's okay to move again. For many locals, those sirens mean absolutely everything else must make way instantly. It's a traffic rule that might sound unbelievable to us, but it clearly reflects the deep reverence for national symbols and government authority in the Congo. Number 6. The force keeping the economy moving every day, yet rarely called an economy. In the Congo, women are quite literally tied down by the law. If a woman wants to open a bank account or apply for a business license, the number one requirement is her husband's signature of approval. Without his consent, she has no right to ownership. But here is the wildest part. Instead of just taking it, Congolese women do something much bolder. They make themselves invisible to the law to trade freely. They fight back by flooding into the informal economic sector where no licenses are required. It generates real economic value, yet it isn't officially recognized as an economy, and there they become the masters of their own uncontrolled mini-empires. Hair salons, bars, wrestling rings, and more pop up like mushrooms in refugee camps, places where space is reduced to a zone of pure survival. In these extreme environments, power is everything, regardless of whether you are a man or a woman. While they are the ones making the rules in those desperate places, once they return home, they go back to being the women who till the soil, harvest crops, and raise children, without a single complaint. These women are denied by the law, yet they are the ones carrying the entire family economy on their backs. Number 5. Sapeurism, where the poor choose to clothe themselves in dignity. There is a paradox in the Democratic Republic of the Congo that leaves many first-time visitors completely spellbound. Right in the middle of dusty streets and impoverished, struggling neighborhoods, you'll see men dressed like they just stepped off a runway at Paris Fashion Week. They are called sapeurs. What makes this so unique is that these men aren't successful CEOs or celebrities. They are electricians, construction workers, and everyday laborers who save up for an entire year just to buy an outfit that others would consider a luxury. This movement started back when the Congo was still a Belgian colony. In a society where the indigenous people were treated as lesser, many young Congolese men chose to dress elegantly as a way to reclaim their identity, taking the very symbols of their rulers and completely rewriting their meaning. A sharp suit was a declaration that while history can leave scars, it cannot define how a person sees themselves. Every single step they take is a reminder that dignity isn't handed down by money, power, or circumstances. Perhaps that's exactly why the spirit of Lasape is still very much alive today. Number 4. The elima ritual, where a girl's first period is a massive celebration. In many parts of the world, a girl's first period is often treated as something to keep secret. But for the Mbuti people living in the Congo rainforest, it is actually one of the most joyful milestones in a young woman's life. This celebration is known as the elima ritual. When a girl enters womanhood, she and her peers move into a special cabin built just for the occasion. Singing, drumming, and dancing go on for days, turning a personal milestone into a shared celebration for the whole community. What makes the elima so beautiful isn't just the rituals themselves, but the way the Mbuti view women. While many cultures historically associated menstruation with taboos or shame, the Mbuti see it as a beautiful sign of life, of the future, and of the community's continuation. A young girl isn't isolated from society. On the contrary, she becomes the center of celebration. It is a moment meant to be honored. Deep within the vast Congo jungle, the elima reminds us that some communities choose to welcome a new chapter of life with song and joy, rather than with awkwardness or silence. Number 3. Flying might cost you your life, but it's the only way out. In the Democratic Republic of the Congo, catching a flight is the only thing keeping people from total isolation. Out here, you are dealing with nothing but untouched, ancient rainforests, massive rivers that seem to flow forever, and dirt roads that completely wash away after a single tropical downpour. Traveling by land in the Congo isn't measured in hours, it's measured in weeks. Because of that, people choose to board planes, even though they know full well that these aircraft don't always land safely. In fact, the European Union once banned every single Congolese airline from its airspace over safety concerns. Not just a few, all of them. Yet, the Congolese people keep buying tickets. It's not because they are unaware of the risks, it's because they simply have no other choice. Even so, this dangerous aviation system, in a strange way, ends up saving far more lives than it takes. Next time you roll your eyes over a flight delay or spotty in-flight Wi-Fi, just remember that somewhere out there, someone is praying just to be in the exact seat you're sitting in, even knowing it could be their very last flight. Number 2. A prayer and a helping hand for the child witches. This is easily the most heartbreaking and bizarre reality in the Congo. Children have become the scapegoats for unemployment, disease, and extreme poverty. According to Save the Children, there are roughly 30,000 children living completely on their own on the streets of Kinshasa, and it is estimated that up to 60% of them were abandoned after being branded as witches. In Kinshasa, 76% of residents openly admit to believing in witchcraft, including well-educated folks, wealthy families, and the political elite. New Pentecostal churches have popped up like mushrooms, with over 2,000 opening in just a few years, and many preach heavily about Satan and witchcraft. When a family hits a financial wall, the strangest child in the house is often pointed out by a local pastor as the root cause of all their troubles. While abandoning a child is a prison offense under Congolese law, as of 2013, not a single parent had ever been arrested or tried for it. Number 1. One of the youngest nations on Earth. If you take a stroll down the streets of the Democratic Republic of the Congo, you might feel like you've stepped into a country made entirely of teenagers. And that's not just an impression. The median age in this country is only about 17 years old, making it one of the youngest populations in the entire world. In other words, every other person you cross paths with on the street hasn't even reached adulthood yet. You can feel that youthful energy everywhere. Packed classrooms, red dirt soccer fields that are always overflowing with players, and neighborhoods constantly alive with music and vibrant spirit. While many countries are staring down the barrel of an aging population, the Congo feels like a society that is literally growing up by the day. The beautiful thing here is that the future doesn't belong to the next generation. The future is the young people living in the right now. They aren't just tomorrow's citizens. They are actively shaping the country today. We've just explored some of the most eye-opening realities of what real life looks like in the Congo. Hopefully, this gives you a whole new perspective on this Nashana place, facing massive challenges, deep poverty, and things you truly won't find anywhere else on Earth. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and share this video if you enjoyed it. See you in the next one.